Have you ever been mid-chase trying to projectile vomit on a survivor like you're performing an exorcism, only to miss completely, get stunned, and listen to your own character retch like she's just been poisoned? Yeah, that's the plague. She's powerful, she's disgusting, she might be the most visually intense killer in the entire game, yet barely anyone touches her. So why is that? Welcome back to Forgotten Foes of the Fog, the series where we dig up Dead by Daylight's most underused killers and ask what happened and why did they fall from the meta. Today, we kneel before the High Priestess of Purgation herself, Adiris, the Plague. Introduced in Chapter 11, Darkness Among Us, the Plague brought an entirely new type of horror to DBD. No knives, no stealth, no traps, just disease. Her power has two phases. First, Vile Purge, a stream of infectious vomit that contaminates survivors, objects, and loops. Hits someone enough times, and they enter the broken state, meaning they can't heal, can't reset, and every chase becomes a one-hit. And when survivors cleanse, Plague transforms that holy water into Corrupt Purge, a high-speed projectile beam which then hits and injures survivors rather than applies an infectious status. Arguably one of the strongest chase powers in the game. So, with infection, zoning, the potential for instant downs, and map-wide pressure, she should be unstoppable. But in practice, she's one of the least played killers in the fog. Let's be honest, the Plague is terrifying. But the moment the trial begins, a few problems become very, very obvious. Some killers are mechanically unpopular, some killers aesthetically are unpopular. With the Plague, it's all about audio. A lot of players straight up cannot handle the gagging, coughing, and wet sound effects that come along with Adiris. It's not just her gameplay, it's a sensory issue. It's an assault on everyone's senses, especially those with specific phobias. And for many players, that is a big deal breaker. Secondly, high skill for surprisingly very low reward. Plague looks like a very simple killer, right? Vomit on survivors, spread infection, and then you're profiting, surely. But actually, playing her requires an absurd amount of game sense. Think about it. You need to be able to predict cleanse timing, control fountain spawns, track infection spreads at every single tile, manage breakpoints in your line of sight, plan when to chase and when to rotate for Corrupt Purge, and on top of that, her infection is a projectile with travel time that has an arc and an inconsistent spread. Meanwhile, survivors can counter any of that by simply just not cleansing. She is a textbook high skill and low reward killer. You have to play perfectly whilst they can ignore your entire power. It just doesn't seem right. Then we have a huge build-up time for very little value. To get real pressure as the Plague, you need to fully infect survivors. But that takes time, and it takes a lot of it. Survivors can break your line of sight round any loop, they can pre-drop pallets to slow you down, run very wide tiles, causing you to come off your game, dodge left and right to avoid your beam, especially with its inconsistency, and when you finally do break them, the reward is that they have the broken status effect. It feels like it takes a while to build that up, and there's no healing, there's no slowdown, it's just a debuff that survivors do not mind sitting in. In the modern day meta, broken has actually become somewhat of a preferred playstyle. Survivors trade for free when they are on hooks, they can body block without consequence, they can rush gens, they can do everything knowing that they don't need to heal anyway. So what's the point? You are taking away Plague's power before she can even use it. You've worked so hard for a state survivors actually want to be in, and that kills her off early in the game. As the Plague, survivors can completely deny you your power. Plague is one of the few killers in Dead by Daylight whose entire power can be denied during the trial, and that is at the choice of the survivors. Strong teams will stay broken for an entire match, which completely denies you your ability to snowball the match using your power, Corrupt Purge. These survivors tend to cleanse once, at the end of a trial during the late game, and it's usually the safest fountain on the map when you cannot use your Corrupt Purge effectively. If the survivor does not cleanse, you do not have corrupted pools of devotion that you can then use, which completely throws you off your game and can change a trial from going fantastic to really bad in a matter of seconds. And even when survivors do cleanse during a trial, it is completely strategic. They only pop fountains that you cannot reach, or they will cleanse simultaneously to split your pressure. They starve you of your Corrupt Purge until it literally does not matter. A good team can starve your power for minutes at a time, and for Plague, minutes without pressure can be a guaranteed loss. And finally, Plague can have so many dead moments in a trial where she has literally nothing. Plague suffers from what most killers do not. Long stretches of the game where she literally has zero functional power apart from her M1. When survivors aren't cleansing and everyone is already broken, your infection cannot progress any further. Your secondary ability essentially becomes useless. There's no Corrupt Purge available because survivors are not cleansing, there's no vomit value, so there's no snowball potential. You simply become a 32-meter M1 killer with no mobility, no slowdown, basically no anti-loop, and no map control. When she's strong, she is strong. She can snowball a game instantly. But when she's weak, she has absolutely nothing to fall back on. And the modern game is far too fast-paced for any killer to be losing their ability or their snowball potential. And this definitely factors in as to why Plague's pick rate has plummeted since her release. So, is the Plague a misunderstood monster held back by player fear, survivor counterplay, and massive downtime? Or does she need more than a buff to truly be reborn? In the right hands, with the right matchups, she creates insane snowballs. If survivors cleanse too much, you can dominate. If they cleanse at the wrong time, you can absolutely steamroll. She punishes mistakes harder than almost any other killer in Dead by Daylight. The problem is, you don't always get the opportunity to try the punishing part. But she isn't a bad killer, she's clearly just volatile. Let me know what you think of the Plague down in the comments below. And next time, we'll be trading Plague beams for precision with the sharp-shooting outlaw of the fog, Mr. Desslinger himself. If you've enjoyed today's video, make sure you give it a big thumbs up and smash that subscribe button so you can catch more episodes of Forgotten Foes of the Fog. Until next time, I will see you then.